All right, what I'm finishing up is a project looking at irrigation in potatoes. And the question comes up of, if you cannot use 6 inches of irrigation, when should you hold it back? This comes up because with the drought in western Nebraska, it came up from 2000, 2009. We had a very severe drought. We got out of the drought for a little while, but we're right now back into that drought. And the water levels of the aquifer has been lowering, and restrictions have been made in various parts of Nebraska, western Nebraska and southern Nebraska. People cannot irrigate like they used to. And they're told, well, this is the maximum amount of irrigation, 16 inches per acre. They're even going down to 14 inches, even 12 inches is being discussed per acre as a maximum amount of irrigation allowed. Well, potatoes need a lot more of water than that. Figuring that the potatoes need about 24 to 25 inches of water. That means rain plus irrigation. In western Nebraska, we normally get during the growing season maybe 4 inches. This year we haven't even come close. If these restrictions are happening and you're told you only have a maximum of 16 to 18 inches of irrigation, you've lost 6 inches. When do you remove them to have the least effect? So using the cultivar Atlantic, if these restrictions are happening and you're told you only have a maximum of 16 to 18 inches of irrigation, you've lost 6 inches. When do you remove them to have the least effect? So using the cultivar Atlantic, using 4 different irrigation regimes. So what I did is decide, okay, the potatoes will never be starved of water, but we will remove half the amount of water for different periods of time. For instance, putting them under an early stress, removing half of the amount of water in the first 8 weeks of growth after emergence, or removing the water in the last 5-6 weeks of the season, or removing a little bit in the beginning around the 3rd to the 5th week after emergence, and a little bit at the end between the 10th and the 13th week, and see how these compare with not limiting the water at all. In other words, the 3 limited irrigations all get 18 inches of water, and the full irrigation gets 24. Actually, it comes out to be 24 and a half. And then see, all right, all 3 get the same amount of water, 6 inches less, but is there any differences between them, and what are those differences? This would help a grower to know, okay, I can pull back a little bit of water here, but not here. Make sure I got it. And the results actually showed that the most critical time for water, in other words, where holding back water is most harmful to yield, to common scab development, to darker chips, to less starch, in other words, lowering of specific gravity, is really in that 5 to 8 week period after emergence. The best place to withdraw water is the last 3 weeks of the season. After the 10th week to the 13th week is probably the best and least deleterious. So later in the season is when you can hold back water better. Early season, you're going to do a lot of harm to yourself.